It's Thursday, the 9th of May 2024. A very good evening as Uganda prepares for another population and housing census that is going to be carried out starting tonight, because it's the census night. This evening is termed as the census night in the exercise. All of us Ugandans are called upon to be part of this exercise and support it and be ready to be counted, give the accurate information. All that is a way to support the Census 2024. A very good evening. Welcome to News Tonight. It's me, Micheal Lukomwa, and we'll go straight to what we have for you, 80% of which is to do with the population census that is taking center stage tomorrow. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today held a productive meeting with the United States of America Ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency William W. Pope, at State House in Entebbe. The discussion centered around various critical matters, including the forthcoming population census, regional peace and stability, and socio-economic development. Recognizing the significance of the population census, the two leaders emphasized the importance of conducting a comprehensive and inclusive count that will provide crucial data for informed decision-making and effective governance. The discussions further delved into regional peace and stability, with President Museveni sharing perspectives on the ongoing efforts to foster peace and security in the region. He underscored the necessity of collaboration and cooperation among nations to address common challenges and promote stability, ultimately ensuring a peaceful environment for the well-being of all citizens. Additionally, President Museveni and Ambassador Pope explored avenues for socio-economic development, focusing on strategies to enhance Uganda's growth and prosperity, as well as improving the long-standing relations between the two countries. Ambassador Pope conveyed his appreciation for the President's valuable time and wise counsel. He also acknowledged Museveni's extensive knowledge and experience, underscoring the importance of their continued dialogue in fostering a strong and mutually beneficial relationship between Uganda and the United States of America.
And we'll be adding get more urbanization, which is good because it is good.
Right.
And that's what we saw here. We are in transition. Pre-capitalist. Pre-capitalist mode of life to money system.
Right.
A section of traders have expressed willingness to pick a lesson from President Yoweri Museveni's guidance during the Tuesday, 7th May 2024 public engagement at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds in Kampala, with others proposing another shutdown of business, and this is not being entirely supported by all the traders.
Tuesday, 7th May, Kololo meeting of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni with the traders still remains a public talk, as a section of traders finds the President's guidance more progressive than regressive.
I take this opportunity to appreciate His Excellency's initiative to call all the traders to take them through.
With the section of traders hinting at having another business shutdown, many do not buy the idea, but rather advise their peers to internalize the President's trade guidance.
Time to study, they want ifs to go away, which is impossible. The truth at times the pain is, I've been crying of tax alone since 2018. I was alone. They have just joined me. Now that crying, did it take away the tax? No, they still follow me even with the police. So I tell them there is no way that tax can stop.
However, the question is, what is the general perception of the President's interaction with traders?
What made me happy is yayogera ekigambo kimu in Uganda ayagala abasuubuzi bakyuke. He wants the traders to divert from import to exporters. So he's trying to bring them the idea of import substitution.
And we always admire our neighbor with good roads, medical care, what? Because they pay tax. He doesn't force them because they made them understand.
According to Moses Mugisha, an advisor to United Traders Entrepreneurs Association, what is pertinent now is devising means to bridge the possible shortfalls in regards to tax and taxation.
Natural, grandpa, inzendiwa cosmetics, bizigo, perfume, creams, lotions, it has quite a variety. And we are limited here with our manufacturing. Personally, I have a registered company. I would wish and I want to become a manufacturer.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Miss.
Abazukuru bakorera amanyago.
Nabidye Ruth Brenda. Company name Hulen Traders Limited. Era jaja ngenda kuberako meeting kuja kubanga nitaga support. I need a factory because I have interest in cosmetics.
I will support you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone can discuss about taxation, but a real tax expert can design taxation system or policy. What do I mean? These traders, anyone can discuss about taxation. If this, do you what?
With the president encouraging transitioning from stall traders to exporters, Mugisha buys the concept.
Tubadde tugula emotoka z'aba Japani. Omujapani aliyeyo fe tumuwa sente. Esente emirimu gy'abaana baabwe byonna bigenda Japan ku motoka. Ate bwe tugenda ku computer esente nazo zigenda. Ate bwe tujja ku ngoye esente zigenda. Now the NRM line is please twezimbe ekikulukuto kino tukigalewo twezimbe. This is the line of the NRM.
His Excellency, he has been putting money in this economy. But the problem, this money that he has been putting in the economy, it is too stagnated. I don't see any reason the government of Uganda is still borrowing money. We have enough money and we have enough resources to organize our economy and to start becoming exporter.
In what might appear as a deflated meeting at Kololo, President Museveni is willing to convene the traders and stakeholders in the same place in June this year to carry on the same discussion.
President, Ifris Simbi Ngabo Jinyonyode.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. The board chairman, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Albert Byamujisha, has allayed all fears on privacy and asked all Ugandans to cooperate and provide truth in the information they will share during the census exercise. Dr. Byamujisha also demystified all the fears on double counting, noting that the enumerators were thoroughly trained and the technology used automatically eliminates errors.
The National Population and Housing Census in Uganda is conducted every 10 years with the primary objective of acquiring essential information on population distribution and other social and economic characteristics. Friday 10th, 2024 has been gazetted as a public holiday to kickstart the Uganda National Population and Housing Census.
That night, where you sleep is where you will be counted.
Thursday 9th, 2024 will be Census Night, a benchmark night or reference point where most of the questions asked by census enumerators will be drawn from what transpired in one's household that night. The chairman of the Board of Directors, Uganda National Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Albert Byamujisha, has clarified the mix-up about the Census Night.
Meaning that we shall count all the persons who will have slept in Uganda, the territories of Uganda, on the night of 9th.
Dr. Byamujisha has urged all Ugandans to cooperate and provide correct information to the enumerators.
So people must be rest assured that the data collected will be confidential, and therefore we call up all upon the personalities who will be in Uganda, who will have slept in Uganda on the 9th, to give the correct information.
With assurance of confidentiality, Dr. Byamujisha has urged men not to hide information, especially about the children they have outside their official marriage.
For example, if a man, as you are saying, has 3 wives, and on the night of 9th, he sleeps with wife A. He will be found there and counted there as the head of the household. Now, while wife B, who lives in another place, will also be counted. So the wife in household B must collect information, who produced the children, or I'm cohabiting with so and so, and we have produced so many children. We have this child here, this one here, the other one there, all of them are his children. But he is not here with us.
The expected 10-day exercise will be conducted by highly trained personnel. Dr. Byamjisha says the technology used is automated to eliminate double counting. The National Population and Housing Census exercise caters for all people irrespective of status, belief, or physical appearance. Dr. Byamjisha has warned all caregivers of persons with disability against hiding their children, and also warned those who undermine the exercise because of their beliefs.
The actual families should not hide children who are disabled. It should take pride. They should take advantage of this census. The other law of Khalid saying that when you are counted, you will die or do whatever, it will not work. It has never happened. We need to avoid that one.
The provisional results for the National Population and Housing Census exercise are expected to be announced within 2 months after the enumeration exercise. The last National Population and Housing Census exercise that was carried out in 2014 indicated that Uganda had a total population of 34.6 million people, slightly lower than the earlier projected provisional results of 34.9 million. Susan Naonga reporting for IBC.
Minister for Information and National Guidance, Dr. Petroleum, has urged the population to embrace the National Population and Housing Census, stating that it is critical and guiding government planning. The census will enable Uganda Bureau of Statistics produce demographic, social and economic statistics.
After 10 years, the country conducts the National Population and Housing Census in order to get figures that are critical in guiding planning, policy formulation and programming in line with national goals. Minister for Information and National Guidance, Petroleum, has rallied the population to embrace the exercise.
Because the various questions which will be asked refer to the conditions people live in. For instance, we shall be asking people the level of education. And then we shall be able to know how many people are educated to this level, how many people are not educated, access to services. And now once we have compiled this information and analyzed it, then we shall look at what is available, what's not available, what do people need, and how does government now plan for this population.
He stresses that the exercise will not be conducted at night, and therefore people need to be conscious of unscrupulous people.
At 6 a.m., so there is no enumeration at night, except if it's on appointment. For instance, some of us who are busy with a lot of work, the enumerators might come, maybe find I'm not at home. I could say come back at 8 through an arranged process. They can come at night, but otherwise ordinarily there will be no enumeration at night. It will be carried out during the day, except for what we call the floating population, because there are those who will be traveling at night in the buses. They are street children. This someone told me even they are even street adults, but people who stay on the streets, those may be captured at night.
These enumerators will be moving with the guides. The guides are the local leaders, especially from LC1 committee, who know the homes, who can also help identify the enumerator and the respondents properly.
Private media houses have also been urged to help by reaching the information to the people about the National Population and Housing Census.
It calls for cooperation and understanding. It's not that you both had the money and they have diverted it and that they don't want to pay media houses. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think there was that provision for paying the media houses for that message. But my appeal would be that in the interest of the cooperation we have always had with the media, the media houses should air that message.
Minister Bariomsi points out that government designated the 10 days and one public holiday to ensure that no house is left behind. Adian Nakute, UBC.
Civil society organizations and private sector have been urged to be ambassadors of the National Population and Housing Census that is kicking off tonight at midnight. While meeting the stakeholders in Kampala, officials from the Ugandan National Bureau of Statistics explained that census is guided by law and it's confidential.
How census.
As the population and housing census draws closer, officials from Uganda National Bureau of Statistics have engaged with the civil society and private sector to support the exercise. Dr. Albert Biamugisha is the board chairperson of Uganda National Bureau of Statistics.
For all of the surveys and the outputs of the Bureau of Statistics for public consumption. So our common mission should be to have an event-free census. We want to have an event-free census for all of us Ugandans and even those who will be sleeping in Uganda tonight, by all, with all.
The officials further explained that the census is guided by the law and it's confidential and mandatory.
Sensitive information, as I mentioned, yes, we need to, and the leaders, we appeal to you to continue the mobilization and sensitization. Taxes, they have always linked it to taxes. But I also need to know from the perspective of welfare that you know, we still have people, for instance, who don't have pit latrines. A percentage close to 8%, according to the previous surveys. We still have people who don't have the basic facilities. So getting to know what you own is also to know what are these categories of probably vulnerable people.
Technical persons were responding to queries raised by private sector and CSOs on people's fear about the security of their data. Census kicks off tomorrow on Friday to 19th of this month, and the first day has been declared a public holiday. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Ugandans have been urged to take part in the National Population and Housing Census registration exercise to enable government plan for the right number of people. The message was conveyed by Minister of Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, and NALI Director General, Brigadier General Charles Chisembo, amidst the official commencement of the exercise tonight.
The country is preparing to kickstart the National Population and Housing Registration exercise with the aim of giving government a working framework on how it can prepare for its people. After numerous trainings of the program's enumerators across the country, all is set for the exercise. The leaders at various levels have urged the people to get involved in the program.
To encourage everybody in Kampala and Uganda at large and encourage you to admit whatever is going to be done starting from the day, because census has begun. This is for our own benefit.
Kampala Minister Misa Kabanda called on Kampala residents to cooperate with the enumerators to expedite the process. Kabanda is optimistic this will help the government to increase the budget allocations for its citizens.
Uganda cannot be organized or reorganized if they don't know how many people they are working on. So that means government will benefit and also us will benefit. Since we don't know how many people will be here. For example, Kampala district itself has more than 20 million people. But some districts in the villages have big 10 districts in some villages. They have around 10 million people. Those are 10 districts. But for us, one district has only around 10 million people. So we should always say the truth that we here, according to the questionnaire, because there is a questionnaire where they are going to ask questions. How many people do you stay with? How many wives? What's your business? What's what? How old are you? And do you have any sickness?
Meanwhile, the head of Nali Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, Brigadier General Charles Chisembo, also invited the citizens to respond to the call.
Because it helps the government to plan for its people, to plan for the people. And once you know the structure of the population, then it becomes a kind of yardstick to help the government to plan. What do we need in terms of houses? What do we need in terms of schools?
Speaking at the farewell ceremony of the officers who enrolled at the institute, Chisembo urged them to serve the citizens diligently.
Become responsible officers, officers who are knowledgeable, officers who understand the dynamics, the global and the regional and global dynamics and how they impact national security. Be professional, to be knowledgeable, because that's the only way how these officers can be more effective. Yeah.
I'm Ivan Juko and Patrick Mugera for UBC.
Local council leaders from different communities have expressed readiness for the coming census slated to kickstart tonight. These cited how they have made enough mobilization about the activity and have done a lot in the communities to ensure that they are ready to participate. However, in some areas, LC chairmen were concerned on the fewer days provided for the training for the enumerators and little communication that was taken around by UBOS.
As the country prepares to conduct the National Housing and Population Census, slated for tomorrow in some areas visited, the local council says they are prepared for the activity come tomorrow.
And they are aware of the census because of the communication that goes on around.
Olunaku lw'enkya abantu bagenda kutandika kubanga ebikozesebwa byonna ndishuwa okuva mu ofisi ya meya wa Kampala Central Division nti abantu bamaze okubifuna.
These claim have done enough mobilization and awareness about the activity.
It's not the first time we are having census in this area, so even previously we had, and I think this community is very well organized community, and I think so that we didn't have any problems before, and I don't think so we are going to have any issues concerning census.
However, some cited challenges of language barriers that are likely to be faced since they host different nationals.
When the census team comes in and they want to attend them or they want to interview them, maybe they might need some interpreters from among their community leaders so that they can easily be interviewed and ask questions, because even ourselves we face challenges with them because of language barriers.
Some local leaders expressed concern over the time period of this activity.
They didn't come here to ask any questions or any pre-census interview.
Avunanyizibwa ku nsonga eno ayanguirewo mu budde nga bukyali wakati batugamba sanga mukaaga nti batandika okubala abantu. Nene sinafuna n'omu ngamba nisaawa mukaaga nti ngenda kusindikira tiimu eno oba bali abaana be mwasindika eri okujja okusoma be bagenda okujja okusomesebwa mmwe sinalabayo n'omu.
Lydia Chomkama, Dan Lukomwa, UBC News.
Arua City is prepared for the National Housing and Population Census. From this evening, the exercise will start with counting truck drivers, including those exiting the city, and the floating population like the homeless people and street children. Arua City has been faced with challenges of identification materials for enumerators, which were not delivered to the city by press time.
Starting the exercise tonight from 7 p.m. we are going to target the travelers, people who are going to leave this place from 7, from 8, from 9 to 10. 2, there is, as a city, we also have a floating population. We have people who don't have where to sleep and they are in the streets. We have street children, and all those are going to be counted. Tonight we are also going to move from hotel to hotel, from lodge to lodge, to count people who are lodging in those areas. Arua city generally is more than prepared. This evening I've just concluded a meeting with LOC1 chairpersons. There are going to be guards, there are going to be guides to direct the numerators. After this floating population, tomorrow we shall start moving from household to household. The only hiccup we have as Arua city, we have not received the identification tax, we have not received the aprons, we have not received the bags. A few minutes ago, I called the logistics officer, somebody popularly known as Sarah, to make sure that they mobilize those items so that those items arrive here before.
Sheikh Mohammed Semambo at a press conference has urged Muslims and Ugandans in general to be vigilant and participate in the population census and Population and Housing Census 2024, which will last for 10 days starting tonight. He was speaking at a press conference at the Tagi Hotel in Kampala.
As Uganda is preparing for the National Population and Housing Census 2024, today Sheikh Mohammed Semambo urged Muslims in general and Ugandans to participate in the National Population and Housing Census 2024 as a way to help prepare Ugandans.
I urge all Muslims of Uganda in particular and nation as a whole take interest in the forthcoming population census that is scheduled to start this week on the 10th of May 2024. This program is so prudent for the effective planning of the citizenry. As Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, we shall get in touch with the Uganda Bureau of Statistics for effective planning of the Muslim community of Uganda.
In his words, Sheikh Mohammed Semambo thanked President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for his action to meet the business people and traders as a sign of calm.
I commend His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for sparing his precious time and meeting the business community. Such engagements are so paramount and constructive to the steady development of our country, Uganda. We recommend such meetings as the only solution to all our current and future challenges. As the Muslim community in Uganda, and you being the patron of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, we shall need your indulgence.
However, he did not fail to thank all those who have done their utmost to ensure that the file of the Jinja case against Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mobaje is returned to Jinja.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all the efforts behind returning back the Muslim file, our file to Jinja. Thank everybody. May Allah reward you abundantly.
Mbarara City Town Clerk Arthur Abirebe has confirmed that the city has already received all the required equipment needed for the National Population and Housing Census 2024. He made the remarks at Ntare School in Mbarara during the swearing-in ceremony of over 900 enumerators and supervisors.
Enumerators and supervisors who have undergone 9 days of training have been sworn in today and are ready to commence the task of counting Ugandans. Mbarara City Town Clerk Arthur Abirebe, speaking at the event at Ntare School, stated that all equipment has been received and enumerators are prepared for the task. He called upon Ugandans to collaborate with enumerators and provide the necessary information.
One, they have to take the oath of secrecy because the information provided, some of it they are not supposed to divulge it anywhere. If they interact with a person and someone provides information, they have to be put on oath so that they know they cannot play around with that information. Materials are there, they are ready. The enumerators are all here, and come Friday, which is tomorrow, we are going to to be ready, and we shall be on the ground carrying out people. We want our people to cooperate and look at this exercise as very, very important, because this is all about us.
Editor Wesiga, the Director of Internal Audit from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, mentioned that they are ready to support the enumerators in their work. He cautioned them to maintain discipline in the field and stated that anyone found acting contrary will be expelled.
They need to do their work professionally. They don't have to jump households, because the information we are collecting is very, very, very key for planning for this country. Because if you don't have the numbers, you can't plan for this country. If you're going to plan for medical services, health care, you're going to plan for roads, and even this information is used for purposes of the funds the central government sends to the cities and other districts. So we emphasize to them why it is very, very important for them to collect the right data, collect the right information, which is going to help this country.
The National Population and Housing Census 2024 will officially commence tomorrow the 10th and will conclude on the 19th of this month.
Without further ado,
we now take a sad one. At least 16 people have died in Kasese district after heavy rains caused landslides in the wee hours of early Wednesday, according to the Uganda Red Cross. Most of the recovered bodies were women and children. 6 people were also injured and are receiving treatment at Charumba Health Center too, the Red Cross spokesperson Irene Nakasita has confirmed. Emergency workers have been shoveling through mud in search of survivors. Meanwhile, the rescue team comprised of Uganda Police Force personnel and Uganda Red Cross officials are still searching for more dead bodies reported to be buried underneath the debris in Kyondo and Mahango sub-counties. River Nyamwamba and River Nyamugasani have also flooded and displaced families living along the riverbanks. Efforts have been to displace the families are underway, with Uganda Red Cross taking lead. Kasese district, where the disaster has occurred, is prone to landslides, especially during the rainy season, because it sits in the foothills of the Rwenzori Mountains that straddle the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has 2 subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, ECOP. ECOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Moment kutusaka live in concert kujahazi PM Nyonyo mu hip hop kuna rubale Kurokanga 18 Mei 2024 ena fefe bose weekend kama koma rapo na nyina freestyle jangola bomwana wakulu kutebika munganiga sasa liva muchamba misana na chino gatuli marapu melele pokinge mtwale bidi vya mtwale tano emeza kakande emeza vya milioni 3 downloading MTN Momo hapa osaliwe kebitula 5 kubuli 10 ku tiketi woguli kwa MTN Momo tiketi yagula mtwale gumo ade VIP ebidi chitundu tulina de bote cruise.
See you looking
Itedwa musente MC MTN Momo give establishment the angry management.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their targets and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
We thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has called upon the general public to embrace the Check Now HIV self-testing services if the country is to attain the goal of ending the scourge by 2030. Alupo made the remarks during the launch of the national rollout of Community Check Now HIV self-testing services in Uganda that is targeted to reach close to 5.8 million people across the country.
Our chief guest is here. On the day when we are launching the Community Check Now.
The Vice President, Jessica Alupo, has launched the national rollout of Community Check Now HIV self-testing program in the country. The national launch was graced by Minister for Presidency, key dignitaries in the health sector, implementing and supporting partners, ABOT team, students, village health teams, among others. The Vice President noted that the self-testing kit will make more people in the country know their HIV status on time.
The launch of the Check Now HIV self-test kit is part of a broader effort by government to address the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the country. By making testing more accessible and reducing the stigma associated with it, the hope is that more people will be encouraged to know their status and take the necessary steps to protect their health and the health of their communities.
Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, the Minister for Health, noted that HIV self-testing kits will be able to diagnose early for timely ART initiation, which is vital in treatment outcomes and prevention of HIV transmission.
I would also like to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for championing 4 decades of the HIV response that has seen us reduce the prevalence of HIV from 18% to now 5.2%.
HIV self-testing program will target close to 5.8 million people and will be implemented by village health teams focusing on communities where access to conventional HIV testing remains limited.
I pledge steady support to ensure that coordination of these actions move Uganda to achieve its vision, mission, and goal of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
We know there are quite a number of our own people, especially adolescents, the men, and the key populations that tend to be a bit shy to go for testing. Now, this opportunity of self-testing gives them an environment which is confidential, which is convenient, and which is empowering for them to test themselves at a place of their convenience.
The Check Now HIV testing kit was developed by Abbott in support of global aspiration to respond to end HIV epidemic. Health experts noted that the interventions put in place have resulted to reduction of new HIV infections to 54,000 and AIDS-related deaths to 18,000 by 2022, which is not yet good enough.
This is a test that works. You can have faith and trust in it. And the study at the universities here in Kampala has shown that it makes a difference. And so I urge you, in the strongest possible terms, to go out there, the village health teams, the borders, to go out there and use that test and share that test so that the youngsters in particular can use that test and check their status.
Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has requested the United Nations to increase their support towards disaster management, refugee management, health burden and the education sector in Uganda. She emphasized that the recent disasters resulting from heavy rainfall across the country have encroached on the government meager resources, requiring United Nations to intervene. Nabanja made the remarks at the United Nations Joint Steering Committee meeting on the UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for Uganda.
The current heavy rainfall has left some parts of the country with floods, roads washed away, and mudslides causing some deaths. Today, during the UN Joint Steering Committee meeting chaired by Prime Minister Robin Anabanja on the UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, she called for UN intervention into the ongoing crisis of disasters across the country.
We are deciding to relocate some of these because they are living in dangerous enclaves. But our resource envelope is not as able to relocate all people who are vulnerable to mudslides and landslides across the country. We have started with Bududa, we are going to Namusindwa, then other Mount Elgon areas. But the resource envelope, we request for your support in this, because losing life at this era is something that is really.
Nabanja said government borrowed money to work on a number of roads, which have now been washed away by floods resulting from the effects of climate change.
Most of our roads now are cut off because of floods, because of climate change, isn't it? And we used money borrowed to work on these roads. Now we shall need more money to work on the same. The other day when we had a meeting in the UN, we talked about how we can start the process so that these multi-billion money lenders or multi-billion companies can look at a way of cancelling some of these loans. Because now we need money to work on Karuma, we need money to work on these flood-affected areas. We need also to start thinking about cancelling debts for African countries.
The UN resident coordinator to Uganda, Susan Ngongi Namondo, called for more investment in disaster preparedness to deal with the effects of climate change.
Lake Victoria level has reached the highest ever reached, and we're expecting more water to come from actual surrounding areas. 69% of water we have in Uganda comes from outside our borders, so we are actually under pressure. And this is caused by a number of things. Climate change is one of them, environmental degradation, and also poor waste management. Many of our drainage channels are actually clogged and the water cannot flow.
Susan Mohammed, Country Director, speaking about climate change funding available for Uganda. Susan Namondo also pledged her support towards the parish development model.
By the colleague from Water and others, this is the era of preparedness. We really need to invest in preparedness because we see the impacts of these extreme weather events. So perhaps that requires also a deeper conversation. I know that there's a disaster preparedness preparedness and response plan.
The State Minister for Health, Margaret Mohanga, called on the UN to support Uganda towards health promotion in order to prevent preventable disease outbreaks.
ICT Minister Dr. Chris Baryomunsi has emphasized the need for regulating social media platforms in the country. The minister disclosed this in a meeting with an 8-member ICT delegation from Iran to discuss digital cooperation and advancements.
The delegation inspected the state-of-the-art National ICT Innovation Hub Nakawa, where it interacted with some innovators. They were later engaged in discussions, sharing experiences and progress in technological development between Uganda and Iran.
It's a follow-up where the government of Iran has sent their deputy minister of ICT with a delegation, of course supported by the embassy of Iran here in Kampala, to have discussions with the government through the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance to look at areas of cooperation. They are basically here to look at how our environment is in terms of digital transformation, the kind of progress we have made as a country, but also to share with us the developments and the progress realized by Iran in terms of technological development.
Dr. Baryomunsi praised Iran's economic and tech progress, emphasizing mutual learning and collaboration opportunities.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is quite advanced in terms of technology development. They have built capacity in a sense that they are able to manufacture most of these devices like phones, computers, and other devices. They have also invested in skilling their people, digital skilling and innovations, and therefore there are many things we can learn from Iran. They are also picking a number of lessons from Uganda.
Chris Baryomunsi advocated for regulating social media and managing digital platforms.
One of the areas we've been looking at as a ministry is to see how to access technology that we can use to filter the content on social media. And we know that in the Middle East, among the Arab countries, these technologies exist that do not shut down social media, but can be used to filter the content so that you only air out, you publish what should be consumed by the public, and you are able to withhold and filter out what you think is not palatable.
Discussions led to plans for a memorandum to enhance digital infrastructure, promote innovation, and support growth.
Like we are now trying to persuade them to have companies, Iranian companies, come and establish factories here to manufacture and assemble these computer-related technologies like phones.
Uganda's young population offers vast opportunities for tech innovation and digital progress. Sudat Kaye.
Third Deputy Prime Minister Hajat Rukia Nakadama has implored the Ministry of Education to include Arabic language on the curriculum, just like other languages, since it's also an international one. Nakadama made the call during the 4th graduation of the Al Mustafa Islamic College at Chengera, as we see in this report.
Al Mustafa Islamic College Chengela, Wakiso District, has today held its 4th graduation in various fields of education, information technology, business, vocational studies, among others. The graduation ceremony held at the campus premises commenced with a procession including the Uganda Police Band, academic staff, and top management of the school. Graduates were adorned in glamour and joy as they received conferments in diploma, certificate and degrees by the Chairman Governing Council of the college, Professor Abid Hideri. The third Deputy Prime Minister, Hajat Rukia Nakadama, graced the function as the chief guest. She commended the institution for its tremendous work done in educating the youth of this country, however cited the need for more faculties, such as oil and gas.
I want to applaud you first of all, for choosing a circumstantial theme, enhancing employability among the youth through vocational skilling. For your fourth graduation ceremony, which directly aligns with His Excellency, the President's strategy of transforming the education system to producing job creators and not only job seekers.
Nakadama also implored the Minister of Education to utilize the existence of Arabic teachers by including the Arabic language on the curriculum. This followed the Commissioner from the Minister of Education, Dr. John Mutekanga, to cite that Arabic teachers are nowhere to be seen in the country.
This morning when I was interfacing with the ambassador of Iran, I said I'm going to come to your office to make sure that we are lacking teachers of Arabic. If any, there are very few. So now that the mufti is here, this is being taken.
I want to say that the Arabic
fellow countrymen and women, especially the Bazukuru, as we work towards realizing Uganda's Vision 2040, it is important that we plan based on accurate information about our people and our resources. I therefore would like to announce the 6th National Population and Housing Census that will start on the 10th of May 2024. The information from the National Population and Housing Census will support government, the private sector, cultural and religious institutions, civil society, and development partners in service delivery. It will also provide the basis for planning the provision of social services such as education, health, and transport, among many others, at the national and local levels. When data collectors or enumerators come to your home during the census, please and progress the country towards the desired socio-economic transformation. I wish you all a successful census for God and my country.
Uganda's biggest tourism and travel trade show of the year is here again. The 8th edition of Africa Tourism Expo Poate 2024 under the theme Responsible Tourism will be taking place at the Speak Resort Center, Munyonyo, from the 23rd to the 25th of May 2024. It's your chance to connect with tourism and travel professionals from across the globe. Discover travel holiday deals, packages, and so much more. Visit www.poate.co.ug to register and be part of the event. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Poate is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfaction taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 20 gold awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Abanyakampala Uganda Yuna! Nobat Events and Awesome Entertainment present Ragey Live in Gosa! At Lukomwa Cricket Oval on 10th May 2024. Tickets are 20k ordinary and 50k VIP, 1 million gold table, and 2 million platinum table. Buy your discounted tickets off the Momo app at only 10k ordinary and 25k VIP. Come represent for Ragey. It's gonna be non-stop entertainment.
We thank you so much for watching, and it's UBC News Tonight. Let's go straight to what we have for you in the business segment. And there, Ugandan and Tanzanian private sectors are set to advance their economic and commercial interests, as revealed by Minister John Mulimba, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, ahead of the forthcoming Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum. Business practitioners from both countries are called upon to take advantage of investment opportunities available for each other.
Given Uganda and Tanzania's geographical location, abundant natural resources and a vibrant entrepreneurial spirit that the two countries have to offer, it was noted that these qualities offer investors a unique proposition for long-term growth and profitability.
Holding the forum in one format comprising of trade exhibition on one hand and an investment forum on the other will enable both countries to showcase and demonstrate their manufacturing and trade capacity while highlighting their comparative advantage to promote and attract prospective investments in joint projects.
The forum, slated for the 23rd and 24th of May in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, on the theme Enhancing our Win-Win Bilateral Relationship, is aimed at an inclusive growth for both countries, industrialization and job creation through the ECO project that is expected to produce over $20 billion.
Tanzania is committed to deepening, enabling business environment and investment climate through undertaking regulatory, legal and institutional reforms to ease the cost of doing business and increase efficiency and productivity of the private sector.
The United Republic the ambassador indicated is complete on the lake from Mwanza to Port Bell or Bokassa, which is coming up. Reduce the transport cost by 40%. So these are some of the achievements that we can build on during and discuss during this second session.
A clarion call was made to the Tanzania and Ugandan leaders to address non-tariff barriers that continue to impede trade between the two countries and the East African region.
Uganda and Tanzania have enjoyed trade relations for hundreds of years. So we are not reinventing the wheel. We are here to reiterate a relationship we've had for hundreds of years. However, being the second event
championship. But in the third one, which is this, will finally take a trophy to our school, and we are very happy, and we hope that next year we can defend it.
The two chess giants from Jinja, Kira College Boutique and Jinja College School, achieved an admirable joint second position, both a commendable 22 points. However, after a tie-breaking process, Jinja College School gracefully settled into the third position.
Absa Bank Uganda has announced its sponsorship of 152 million Uganda shillings for captains tournament, and Absa Bank Uganda MD Mumba Kalifungwa backed the tournament, stressing its role in Uganda golf growth. The managing director, Absa Uganda Mumba Kalifungwa, the highly anticipated 2024 Captain's Bell tournament is set to take place on the 18th of May.
Absa Bank Uganda will be sponsoring the Captain's Bell, the 2024 Captain's Bell tournament. This event, as the captain has indicated, has become a cornerstone of the Ugandan golfing calendar, and Absa is proud to be the official sponsor again, with a contribution of 152 million Ugandan shillings. Our sponsorship package for the 2024 Captain's Bell tournament reflects our commitment to supporting and nurturing young talents as we support the growth of golf in Uganda. We are proud to announce that Absa Bank Uganda will also be providing prizes for the winners. In addition to this sponsorship, we were proud this year to have sponsored our local pro, Ronald Rugumayo, for an inspirational performance at the Kenya Magical Open, where he became the first Ugandan to make it to the DP Tour, and we're extremely proud of that achievement.
So the number one pro gets 10, then using certain percentages that we have in the system, will accord, the different players the money that is due. But the top player will be getting 10 million shillings, which is a lot more than they gave last year. And the presser, the announcement.
Gavumenti ya Uganda ikaniza okubaro kwa abantu bona abo mwihanga n'ebintu byabo makalmage amazima nuko ngiye ntegekenu esobole kuraba mu kurungi.
Fellow countrymen and women, especially the Bazukuru, as we work towards realizing Uganda's Vision 2040, it is important that we plan based on accurate information about our people and our resources. I therefore would like to announce the 6th National Population and Housing Census that will start on the 10th of May 2024. The information from the National Population and Housing Census will support government, the private sector, cultural and religious institutions, civil society, and development partners in service delivery. It will also provide the basis for planning the provision of social services such as education, health, and transport, among many others, at the national and local levels. When data collectors or enumerators come to your home during the census, please avail yourselves and provide answers to their questions. This is in order to enable them process the most accurate information about you, your household, institutions, and community. I therefore call upon all political, cultural, and religious leaders, private sector players, civil society, the media, and the institutions of the government to support this key national program. The successful execution of this census will influence the well-being of all Ugandans and progress the country towards the desired socio-economic transformation. I wish you all a successful census for God and my country.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
We've hit We've